Deck the halls, y'all. Your main man, Mr. Dimesteel here. And today is day 8 of Christmas Countdown of Reactions. Ooh, we're almost there. Well, not even halfway, but you know what I mean. Anyways, for day 8, we're going to be reacting to something very different. It is the origin of Man-Bat. Now, I'll be straight up honest with you. I've played Batman Arkham Knight. It is a really fun game. I mean, you have tons of different villains in there. You've got Scarecrow, Joker, although he's in Batman's head. You have a Penguin, Two-Face. Who else was there? Deathstroke, Poison Ivy. There was also Man-Bat, of course. See, there's just so many different characters and villains in there. It's just... And you also have Arkham Knight, who is in the title of the video game. But man, oh man. Anyways, yeah. Well, let's discover the origins of Man-Bat. From what I remember, I think his name was Kirk Langstrom, but that's about it. So, let's go.
What's up, my comic comrades? Today we break down the origin of Man-Bat. Although Man-Bat is a fairly well-known Batman villain, I feel like many people don't know how he started out. A lot of us 90s kids were introduced to him in the first episode of Batman the Animated Series titled On Leather Wings, which stayed fairly true to the character's roots. But today we're going to tell you exactly how it went down in the comic books. Man-Bat first appeared in Detective Comics issue 400 in June of 1970. He was created by Frank Robbins, Neil Adams, and Julia Swartz. His origin is detailed in Detective Comics issue 400, and at the very beginning of the issue, we are brought to the Gotham Museum of Natural History after hours, where we are introduced to Kirk Langstrom, who is setting up a bat exhibit. The museum curator comes to check on him, with Langstrom saying, "I've been burning the midnight oil again to get this night creature habitat exhibit completed for the next month's opening. I guarantee this larger-than-life creation is going to be an eye-opener." But once the museum closes, we see Langstrom is up to something else, saying, "Now I can get back to my real work with live counterparts." We then see him experimenting on real bats, saying, "The bright light hurts your weak eyes, does it? Soon you'll sleep, little furred friend, and soon I will have a natural ability even the great Batman doesn't possess." Essentially, Langstrom is a zoologist who wants to give humans the amazing sonar sense of bats. As he continues his experiment, he declares, "That does it, the last of a series of ever-increasing doses of gland extract." He takes the serum and says, "And now, my leathery wing friend, we wait for the first signs of increased sensitivity to minute sounds, the first necessity for natural sonar detection." And the new sound starts with a faint drop of water dripping from a sink. He also realizes his eyes are now extremely sensitive to light. He runs to get sunglasses and his jacket, exclaiming, "Good Lord, I navigated in utter blackness without bumping into anything. My vocal cords must have been emitting supersonic signals. My ultra-sensitive hearing picked up the bounce-back echoes, guiding me like a homing missile. I've done it. I now possess a bat's natural sonar." He then continues saying, "But normal sounds can drive me crazy. I have to dull them. These wax earplugs will do till I can get better ones." As the day progresses, Langstrom slowly turns more and more into a bat, noticing his hands are growing hair and even developing claw-like features. He wonders if this is a secondary characteristic of the gland. It has to be temporary. However, when he looks in the mirror, he is struck with horror seeing his transformation into Man-Bat. He freaks out, exclaiming, "It's some ugly nightmare. The gland extract must be causing hallucinations. I can't be turning into..." As he starts shrieking, he looks into the mirror again and realizes, "I am, and he must find an antidote." One of the bats in his lab frightens him as he shouts, "Stay away from me, you furry little monster. I am not one of you." He decides he must hide until he can reverse the mutation and leaves a note for his boss, the museum curator, saying he's off to take care of his sick mom. Langstrom manages to fall asleep hanging upside down like a bat, and when he wakes up, he initially thinks it was a dream, saying, "I had a dream that I was really a bat," and sleeping hanging upside down, but quickly realizes it wasn't a dream at all, but actually reality. Needless to say, that would make for an interesting day. And speaking of interesting, you've got to check out this new model of the dystopian Detroit police cyborg RoboCop from our friends at FanHome, today's sponsor. Over the past few months, we've shown you their dope Ecto-1, Infinity Gauntlet, and Knight Rider car, and this time, it's full-on 1987 Alex Murphy RoboCop. Like all FanHome's models, the detail on this is incredible. At a full 2 feet tall, this fully articulated model is made of metal and high-quality injected molded ABS. With features that precisely reproduce the iconic character in the original film, this RoboCop has a working thigh holster with removable pistol, sound effects with original film phrases, and insanely realistic facial features created in silicone. This ain't no kid's toy. This is a real collector's item ready for display in your home or office. But it's also not your typical collectible. It's a FanHome original model that you build yourself. With FanHome subscription kit, each month they send you fresh model pieces as well as easy to follow assembly instructions. And all subscribers also receive fun gifts during their subscription like a RoboCop t-shirt, branded battery pack, cap, and poster. Look, don't take our word for it, just check it out for yourself. Click the link in our description, and while you're on their site, you gotta check out the rest of their lineup of other amazing Marvel, Star Wars, and Transformers models. I'm telling you, we're always impressed by the detail and quality of FanHome's pieces, and they're really fun to assemble as well. So grab yours now, just use our code VARIANT with the link in the description below so they know that we sent you. Okay, getting back to Man-Bat's origin, we next see Batman taking on some thugs known as the Blackout Gang at the museum where Langstrom worked. And this, of course, is where he encounters Man-Bat for the first time. In the middle of the fight, these thugs use tech they had in their possession to disappear, but Man-Bat uses his new abilities to detect and stop them, fulfilling his dream of fighting alongside Batman. But after he took care of the thugs, Man-Bat tries to leave, but Batman stops him saying, "What's your hurry? For someone I owe so much to, you're an awfully modest hero. At least let me see who I owe thanks to." Man-Bat replies, "You don't want to see. No one should. It was your inspiration, your fight against criminals of the night, that brought this on me." Batman, curious, shines a light on his face, stating, "Man, you're even more bat-like than I ever was. And with your heightened abilities to see in the dark, you outdo me. What an inspired disguise." Man-Bat responds by telling him, "I only wish it were. It's a disguise that succeeded too well." Man-Bat then runs off with Batman saying to himself, obviously he doesn't want me to follow him, but he would make a formidable friend or foe. This leads us to Detective Comics issue 402, where the story continues with Man-Bat at a biochem lab watching criminals attempt to crack open a safe that contains the chemical he needs to cure himself. However, Batman arrives to stop the thugs, putting Man-Bat in confrontation with the Dark Knight. Man-Bat tries to explain why he's there, but Batman tells him, "Hold it. We just fought to prevent a theft, and until I get the police here, nothing is touched." Man-Bat responds, "You don't understand. I can't wait. No one stops me. Not even you, Batman." He then knocks Batman down while saying, "I'm not a thief like those rats. I'm prepared to pay for what I take." Batman looks at him and says, "So you are, but this is after business hours, and there's no way to buy medical products." Langstrom grows angrier and says, "Don't force me to be your enemy, please." But Batman essentially tells him, "I don't care what you say. You're not taking those chemicals this way," which leads to another fight between the two, with Man-Bat stunning Batman and knocking him out with the safe door. When he comes to, Batman decides to meet with Langstrom's fiancée at Langstrom's lab, where she asks, "Where is Kirk? What have you done with him?" Batman replies, "It's just as I feared. Brace yourself, Miss Lee. That is your fiancé, Kurt Langstrom," as he points to Man-Bat. Shocked and embarrassed to see her, Langstrom drops the serum he created and jumps out a 3-story window so his fiancée wouldn't have to see him like this. And when he lands, he collapses to the floor saying, "My only refuge, my only chance at normalcy destroyed. Curse you, Batman." Now fully transformed, Langstrom looks for a giant cave as bats do, and what do you know? He actually stumbles into the Batcave. He says to himself, "Where am I? This is no ordinary cave. This could only be Batman's home, the Batcave." And when Batman arrives, he comes into confrontation with Langstrom yet again. At the end of their night, Man-Bat tries to flee but gets knocked out in the process as a door shuts right in front of him as he was trying to fly out. Batman then walks over to Langstrom, still breathing, but for how long? If he should live and his brain is permanently damaged, would it be more of a curse than a blessing if I restored him to human form? To live out his days as a vegetable? What an impossible decision to make. There could only be one answer. If he must die, let it be as the man he once was. So Batman creates a cure for Langstrom and transforms him back into his normal self. Unfortunately for Langstrom, as we would find out in future issues, the cure turned out not to be permanent, and Langstrom would occasionally have blackouts, turning back into Man-Bat and going on rampages. Essentially, Man-Bat is one of Batman's most tragic villains, as he didn't set out to be one. Now that's Man-Bat's original origin throughout the years, but more recently it's changed, as we saw on Detective Comics Volume 2, Issue 19, where Langstrom created the Man-Bat serum to help deaf people. And while his intentions were more noble, the outcome was the same. Anyway, let's get into Man-Bat's powers and abilities, which are actually pretty straightforward. Langstrom is a massive humanoid bat. Because of this, he has all the abilities of a bat, just on a bigger scale because of his size. So he has enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, and speed. He also has abilities just like real bats, like sonar and echolocation. Not to mention he can fly with his massive wings and carry things with his sharp claws. All in all, he's one of Batman's greatest threats because, first and foremost, he's a massive humanoid bat, which makes him incredibly scary and dangerous. He's also the living embodiment of Batman's greatest fear, a bat, which makes for some interesting storytelling. Essentially, Man-Bat is kind of the reverse of Batman, which is why the name is just flipped. But there you have it, friends, the origin of one of Batman's coolest and scariest villains, one that many of us fell in love with because of the pilot episode of Batman the Animated Series. I mean, that's what it did for me. But what's your take on Man-Bat? Sound off in the comment section. Other than that, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.
That's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. That was actually really interesting. Well, yep. I guess they didn't well, they are variant comics, so of course they wouldn't mention anything about the video games. So yeah. But yeah, this was actually pretty interesting to watch. I might react to more of these. Anyways, comment down below what you guys thought of this, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed. You be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You want to watch the video? Link is in the description down below. And as usual, I am your main man, Mr. Dime Stealer, and I will see you all in the next video, which will be tomorrow with day 9 of Christmas Countdown of Reactions. Till then, see ya.